So we've been really hard on Zac Robinson all season, and rightfully so. Now, in my opinion, the play calling's been really inconsistent and really lacked purpose. In my opinion, there was no really, oh, we're about to sequence plays in a certain way. We're not setting things up really. He was just calling just to calling, in my opinion. And it wasn't necessarily the play designs, it was just situational play calling and when he was calling certain plays. But after that bye week, he got it together. And for some reason, Zac Robinson calls his best games in prime time. I'm not sure why, but if you guys do enjoy this video, be sure to like and subscribe for more. Let's get into the film. So here we go. This is the first play of the game, or the video rather. We're talking about Tyler Allgeier's touchdown run to open up the game, and I want to break this one down first. So you see the end zone angle. It really doesn't tell the full picture, but Kyle Pitts is going to be over here aligned, flexed out. So naturally the defense, they're going to set towards the tight end. They're going to have the 3-tech to his side, okay? And as you know, like even if we were under center, we can still run outside zone to the weak side, okay? Because that's what we love to do. We want to take advantage of this B gap bubble that's right here because it's easier for your guys to get to the second level. It's just a really big space to take advantage of, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to motion Bajan over behind Mike just to, you know, pull guys out. We're going to pull Bernard out of the box, and in return, a safety's going to drop down because if he wants to go with him, you know, obviously they were playing more man-to-man stuff early downs. Even, you know, not even early downs, but just in the game in general, right? They were doing like a lot of man blitzes early on because, you know, you want to stop the zone run. You want to get guys up front penetrating. You want to have, you know, 5, maybe even 6 guys on the line to where they can't double team, okay? But bottom line is they're going to drop down the safety in the box to, you know, compensate for them losing a count in the run game. Like, hey, that's not a bad decision to make. Let's watch our guards in this because I really love what they did on this play, okay? So let's check it out. Look at this. We get to the height, to the snap of the ball, right? These guys do a good job of immediately climbing. Look at that. They are working in sync, perfectly in motion. Look at this. Their get off is the same, and they both make contact at the same. And so now you see this lane is right here. And Tyler Allgeier, he's that one cut slashing type of back, okay? You need those type of backs in the zone run system, okay? And then you see Jake Matthews just like one arm on 57. You see a good cutoff block by Elijah Wilkinson. Ryan Newsell's doing a good job on this. Bro, this was amazing. You can't block up a run better than, well, you probably could, but like this is as about as blocked up as it's gonna get, right? And look at that. It's literally a red carpet down to the numbers, okay? And we get down here. Look at this. Tyler Allgeier, man, this man said, let me go and knock this man out. Look at this, y'all. He said, I'm gonna go knock you out. Like, you want to challenge me on this, you're not gonna stop me. Like, oh my God, bro. This is why I love having a two-headed monster at running back because these guys literally cannot be stopped. Because when you block it up, and like, they don't even have to have it blocked up perfectly, okay? But even when they do block it up perfectly, it makes it just as bad because now it's a free explosive run. We got a 20-yard touchdown, okay? Now this next play right here is Drake London's touchdown. So everybody sees the touchdown right here. Cool. Let's look at it where he reaches across, but it's way deeper than that, okay? I want to take it back just a few weeks and show y'all what these guys saw on film and, you know, why they called this play right here. So a couple of weeks ago against the Saints, they came out in this 3-by-1 formation against the Bills, okay? And what the Bills did, they countered this by doing something called stubby, okay? So if you don't know what that is, basically you're going to be manning up this guy right here, okay? Damn, that's ugly, okay? But essentially you're going to get a man up on this guy. You're going to get a triangle over the number 2 and number 3 receiver, okay? You're going to lock this backside, and this guy can cheat over to the front side of the formation, okay? It's a trips check, you know, for quarters, okay? And then also this guy will be responsible for the running back. So if he were to go across and be a fast 4, then he has to pretty much replace this guy right here, okay? Like, it takes a lot of communication, basically. It's so complicated. So look, this is what they saw. Because check this out, it's really like a pattern match thing, okay? Let's look at the apex. So when 2 went out, or in this situation, he's gonna go, you know, out and up, he has him all the way, okay? And for this guy right here, the middle linebacker, all he has to do is just wall this guy off to the safety, okay? But he's also essentially playing 3-2. So if 3 went out, he's gonna get his eyes to 2. He's gonna, you know, once again deliver that. I think we went over this in the video I dropped before the last one where I talked about this whole thing. But and then also this guy, he's just gonna stay over top of everything. It's kind of like playing like a mini cover six, but kind of not. But kind of you kind of are. Anyways, you kind of see how it works out where you pretty much just like matching the releases. And so this is what they saw, and they almost got a touchdown off of this, but Brandon Cooks dropped it. So let's get back into our film. Now I want to stop it right about here because I want to, point some of this stuff out. So once again, we know this guy is reading 3-2, right? So he's going to have hard inside leverage because he has outside help from the safety. So he's going to take these guys, he's just going to hook it up, okay? But that also means this nickel has outside leverage on Drake London. He's going to force that outside release, and he's going to get back inside and hook it up right here, okay? Then you're also just going to get David Sills running up because he's just man-to-man, okay? And then you're going to get Casey Washington doing this in cut right here, pretty much drawing the attention of this guy and this guy right here, right? So basically, he's trying to get Drake London the ball because we already know this guy is reading 3-2. He's reading 3-2. We're going to take him out of the picture and isolate him one-on-one in space. Like, Zac Robinson, you are calling a game so far. So all Mike has to do, once he sees this, he can put it on his left shoulder. Boom. He gets stopped at the 1 because remember, it is 3rd and goal, but he's too big. He's going to reach across the goal line, okay? But once again, this play design was perfect. So if we just come like right about here, once again, let's just talk about it. We already remember this guy's locked up man-to-man on David Sills. We know these guys are reading 3-2. So 3 went vert. They're going to carry him all the way through. This is going to leave a big void for Mike to work with. We remember, guess what? This guy is pretty much double teamed by this guy. We manufactured a one-on-one against a pattern match zone. Like, very good play calling right here. All right, now this next one, I want to give more offensive line appreciation because these guys were doing a hell of a job. So once again, let's look at the front. We already know that these guys, they were aligning to the tight end. So that means we're going to have a 3 take towards the tight end right here. So what they're going to do is we're going to motion out Charlie Warner to just pull guys out. So what we're going to get here, once again, we're going to leave this guy unblocked. We're going to cut him down. Okay, we're going to immediately climb right here. Once again, we're going to have these climbs to this guy right here. This offensive line is so good, man. And I'm glad we're going to have Jake Matthews back next week because it seemed like it wasn't a major issue, but Michael Jarrell was terrible in his limited snaps. I'm just going to be real about it, okay? But let's look at this offensive line once again. So look, check this out. We're going to get that motion out of the way, okay? And look at our guards, guys. Our guards, like, this has to be the best guard duo in the league. I'm just convinced because look at this. These guys are always operating on a string. They both engage pretty much at the same time, okay? Let's look at Ryan Newsel. He's essentially cut off Deion Walker, the nose tackle, from this run because he's on this side of his shoulder, okay? So now he has this lane just go down, okay? And then you also have Chris Lindstrom, the best guard in football, coming up to Shaq Thompson, and we get this guy a safety on a lineman. He's not going to win that, okay? And once again, Jake Matthews is just too strong for number 50, so we watch this play through a little bit more. Look at this. Another lane. Look at that. All you need to give our running backs is this amount of space, and we're gonna take it, okay? And we have 2 guys backside that are not even factors. Like, this is pretty much a convoy, bro. And look at this. We're gonna get through. Now it's Cole Bishop again. We beat him already for a long touchdown early in the game. We're not worried about him. He's not gonna tackle us. Look at that. But look, check this out again. Look, he's not gonna tackle us. He's not. Now it trips him up, but still, like, now we're down 1st and goal. So come on, y'all. This offensive line was moving people all night. All right, now this play, we're going to get into the passing plays now. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be talking about this passing game because Zac Robinson called up some very good pass concepts right here. And he was doing some of the things that I was, just kind of spitballing ideas. I wasn't necessarily talking to him, but I was like, we need to be doing some of this stuff. So if you don't know, in Miami, when they do some of their play action stuff out of shotgun, either they would really have the running back right here, and essentially Mike would turn around, they would fake the wide zone this way, and then we would get into our drop back because it helps out a left-handed quarterback, okay? You still kind of get that we're going to turn our back to the defense, show the run fake, we're going to get out on the edge because it's a way to get into your zone runs, right? But anyways, let's talk about what we are doing. So we're going to motion over Bijan, obviously, and we're going to sell this run fake. So now what we're going to do is we're going to have Casey Washington just run right down the field and pull the coverage, okay? That's not what he did. He's going to run down the field and pull the coverage, basically, okay? You're going to have Drake London run a sail route, okay? So he's going to be selling this crossing route like he's coming across the field, and he's going to break back out like that. Okay, and you have your 3-level read right here where you have your alert right here. You're going to have the guy trying to hit Drake London, and then you're going to have your flat Bijan. Okay, you're going to block it up behind everybody. So you're going to have 5 plus 2. So that's a 7-man protection. And then defensively, we're talking about like, cover 3, right? But let's look at it. So we already have our 3 deep right here. We're going to have our 4 underneath. And it's not really going to be as clear, but you can tell because look at this. When, he sees Kyle, this guy right here, by the way, when he sees Kyle stay in the block, he's going to immediately haul ass to the middle of the field and try to intercept. Like, let's say Drake ran a crossing route. He's looking like to, intercept it or, pick it up, right? So let's get into this and how this played out. So we watched this play through. Now, the timing was kind of off, but, it got better during the game. So let's look at this. Boom. We do the fake. And this pulls the guys down. It pulls them down because look, it pulls them down about 2 or 3 yards. That's really all you need. Okay. And initially I thought this play was kind of like, oh wow, this is not going to work, because I remember seeing, he didn't even fall for it. He was kind of already looking at Drake. Okay. But then when you look at how Drake ran this route, he's going to press it and like sell he's running across. So he's going to get his eyes back and thinking, okay, he's probably about to come across. But no, he just breaks it back out. Like, this is the type of stuff Travis Kelce does, where he's kind of just like manipulating the defender, reading space, and then breaking out. Like, look at this. You're going to see what I'm talking about. Okay. So he's going to sell like I'm doing this crosser right here. Okay. So now he's got his eyes back. But no, we're going to turn back around and look at this void that was created by that route running and the play design. You have about 5, 10, almost 20 yards of space right here to throw to. Now, Mike throws it a little bit low, and I'm not mad because it got there, but still, like, this is a very good play design. So I said in the video earlier today, or rather yesterday, because it's 12 o'clock right now, that we were really leaning into 12 personnel. So that means, 2 tight ends, 1 running back. Okay. Bijan's right there, by the way. I don't know why I pointed at Drake. But conceptually, what we're doing is we're going to have Drake motion over, and he's going to motion back. So he's going to do a return motion, basically. He's going to kind of undress the coverage. So if this guy were to follow him the whole way through, okay, that way we know we're getting man. So we're going to take our shot with either Bijan or Casey Washington. But since they bump it over, we know we're getting zone. So what we're getting here is Casey Washington running off the coverage, okay? We're going to get Bijan doing a spray release and breaking out. Then you're going to get Drake London taking the inside release in it. Or no, he's going to kind of just sit it down right here, okay? So we get a variation of snag. We're going to have our dig backside by Kyle Pitts playing that X receiver. And we're really going to be keying this defender right here, okay? He's the most important person. So when we watch this play through, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So let's get through. We see the motion right here, okay? And you can tell this is zone because everybody, like, there's, once again, also, let's look at him. I didn't even check this out when I first watched it. He's over here looking. So we already have our 4 for our 3, okay? They kind of just, like, they not even trying to hide it anymore, okay? But I'm going to show you what I'm talking about when we're reading this guy right here. So look, check it out right here. We see that since nobody's really matching man-to-man, we know Bijan's going to be the one that's going to be working out. We know he's going to be hooking up right behind it. We know he's running all the way off. Okay, so we know if we're Mike, we know if he's going to be expanding fast, we're going to have this. We know if he's just kind of sitting here watching the quarterback, we're going to have that, because think about it. He's already bailing. Come on, like, he was going to be wrong no matter what he chose, okay? And he happened to choose Bijan, and I don't blame him, because last week we showed this a lot, and they were hitting this a lot. So Teron Johnson's like, he's going to trust his instincts. We're going to go take the speed out by Bijan, and it's going to leave Drake London wide open. Look at that. And it's a pitch and catch. Now, the ball didn't get tipped, because I'm like, why did he throw it high? But when you watch the end zone, it got tipped, okay? Because I'm thinking Mike really tried to put this ball on this shoulder right here so he can turn and run up, okay? But, he caught it kind of high and inside, so you could also see the ball kind of wobbling in the air. But good play design, good recognition by Mike, seeing it with confidence and throwing it. And then we're in field goal range after that. Good stuff. Now, this next one right here, we're going to be looking at a play action concept. We ran play action way more this game. Now, granted, the rate was still kind of low for my liking. I think we should probably be somewhere, like around 40-ish%. We're still in the 20s, unfortunately, but we're working. We're getting somewhere with this play action stuff, okay? Well, offensively, what we're going to be doing is, so we had Charlie Warner shift over and be the tight end, or he's going to be in a wide off position, which means off the line of scrimmage instead of being in line on the ball. Okay. Then after that, we're going to be motioning in Casey Washington as the new number 2. He's going to be running a clear out route. Okay. And I actually know that if it were, a 2-high coverage, he would bend this inside and kind of just split the safeties. Okay. But since it's just 1 high, he's going to keep going down the seam. Right. So we're going to have Drake London do a in cut right here. And we have our dagger concept. This is what we're working right here. One of my favorite concepts, one of the easiest concepts to get chunk plays off of, because you're taking advantage of the middle of the field and it's off of play action. You literally cannot lose, okay? Well, unless you don't sell the run fake and you're down and you're trying to run a play action concept while you're down, but that doesn't really make sense. So anyways, so when we watch this playthrough, you're going to see what I'm talking about. So also, I don't know why I left this out, but defensively, we are in cover 3, so we're going to still have our 3 deep. And we're going to have our 4 underneath, okay? Curl flat, hook, curl flat. This is what we're getting defensively, okay? And if we know the weakness of cover 3 is the seams right here. Now, Casey Washington was wide open, and I do think if Mike was in this, first 3 starts, he's going to try to rip that seam, but I'm glad he stayed true to the progression and hit the in cut because we needed this. I'm not saying we need it badly, but we needed this chunk play right here, okay? Because I like it. And I also say a rule of thumb when you're looking at coordinators, like, if you see multiple guys open, you're doing a good job, because look at this. We're going to motion over, boom. Now, he kind of gets jammed at the line right here, but I also like to see this. He's going to still not run full speed to get back into this, because now we still need this clear out. And I kind of think jamming him did him well, because look at this. Usually when you see Dagger, these guys are probably right next to each other, right? And then he's going to go and then assume really just cut off of that. Now, the way I prefer it is, I kind of prefer it like this, where he's kind of a little bit behind him. That way he can really just like see the space and sit down, because it's not necessarily where you're going to be running straight down the field, okay? And you're going to just be running just a dig across the field. Like, at some point, you're going to have to sit this down for the quarterback, be quarterback friendly, and sit in the zone. And so having him far ahead running off coverage, makes it better for him, okay? So we're going to play this through just a little bit more. Look at this. So now you see what I'm talking about. This guy's back's turned, but he's going to get his head back around anyway. So look, you see what I'm talking about, how, once again, this seam is open. Now, Mike knows, based off the laws of physics, if he just throws that, this guy can easily undercut it, and it's going to be an interception. But still, I think he would have tried to do it if he had, he has the arm for it. I don't blame him for trying it. Okay, but you still what I'm talking about. He has all this space to run to, and you're going to see he's going to sit this down right about here-ish, because once again, he's going to get his eyes back around. It's going to be a void behind him. So look at this. Look at that. And he settles up in space, which is perfect. You don't want to be a robot all the time, because if you are, it just doesn't always work out. So way to just sit down. These guys are on the same page, and we get a chunk play off of this, and now we're at midfield, and I love it. Like, Zac Robinson, you're doing a hell of a job this week, bro. This week. Now, if you watched the video I uploaded before the game, you would know I talked about, how we could attack these bootlegs, right? Because they tend to play cover 3 man-to-man in this area of the field, okay? So what I'm talking about is, like, last video I said what the Saints did. They did this bootleg, right? They had Rashid Shaheed run this way. They had Chris Olave come from the backside right here. They had Guy Block come out right here. But I also said, since they were in cover 3 and they were in a variation of cover 3 where this middle field safety cuts anyways, like I said, where he cuts crossers, I said we could take advantage of that. So this is what we did. We actually took advantage of it. So I know I'm not tripping when I see what I see. So what we're going to do is we're going to do Mike is going to get off the midline. So what that means is he's standing on the midline right now, which means he's pretty much like even with in my words, he's even with the ball, okay? So he's going to step off the midline, let Tyler get downhill, okay? And what you're going to see is the way they react to it, and the way, a lot of teams do, is that since we know he's stepping off the midline, a lot of teams treat this as zone reads. So we're going to have this guy blocked down, and I think, I may not be 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure this guy right here is playing a heavy 5, okay? Because when he goes away from him, he's going to come down the line and get the running back, and you're going to have this guy spill over top for the quarterback. Okay, that's just basically what we're doing. Okay, so we're gonna get offensive. We're gonna get Charlie Warner coming across and getting into the flat right here. Okay, we're gonna get Kyle Pitts on this crossing route, and we're gonna have Drake London go right down the middle of the field. And then you're going to also have Casey Washington just occupy this other corner. But remember what I said about that cover 3 thing, where this guy right here in the middle of the field, he's going to be cutting that crosser, and he cuts that crosser, and you're going to have this guy from outside leverage. And the only reason why he doesn't throw it to Drake is because he had pressure in his face. And this is one of the times where I really wholeheartedly agree with Dan Orlovsky that if we were under center doing this and we showed this run fake that way, really made him chase down the line, and then set up to throw like right about here, that's a touchdown for Drake London. Okay, so you're gonna see what I'm talking about right here. So let's do this. You're gonna motion over Charlie Warner. We already know this is one of the things we love to do, right? But instead of going behind, or instead of going with him, we're gonna go away from him. Okay, so now this guy's thinking split zone, right? And so that's exactly what we get. We get a split zone look by Charlie Warner. He's gonna, bump it and then get collapse on the running back. Okay, we're gonna get this rollout by Mike, and you're gonna see he's going to be chasing this guy down. But you're gonna see this guy is cutting Kyle Pitts right here, and Drake London is running to space. Oh my God, bro! Now obviously he's last in the progression, really not in the progression at all. But I really believe we might come back to this if a team plays bootlegs just like this, okay? Because we see, Mike's rolling right, and we get back to this. You're going to see good catch and run, or not catch and run, but good pitch and catch, rather, because he's throwing it back. Who else throwing it like this, man? That's a good play right there. You also see, once again, come on, man. If this guy wasn't in his face and he has time to reset and throw that, he's throwing that right about there. Zach, I don't know what you were doing this bye week, but it looks like you fixed all of your issues. You're doing things that we've been begging you to do, and I'm loving it. And now the last one I want to go over is fairly simple. I think a lot of a lot of West Coast teams do this, and it's starting to trickle its way around, every single team, right? Where we're going to get this full field read where we use stick as a quick game, but we build up off of that. So we're going to have Casey Washington motion over, and he's going to be running a flat route right here. Okay, Drake London's going to be running a stick route right here. His favorite route is obviously stick because he's just so good at running him. Okay, we're going to have a dig by David Sills, which is one of my favorite routes to run when you're talking about full field reach, because it always comes open, but it's extremely hard to hit because you have to trust that your receiver is going to be there. Okay, and then you're going to have Kyle running pretty much a return route. So you're going to be thinking rhythm 1, 2, 3. Okay, and once again, I never told y'all, but the triangle read is right here. We love triangles when we're designing play concepts. So that triangle's right there, and we also have an immediate answer if we get guys following. Okay, one thing I do want to talk about is Mike and his throwing mechanics, because look at this. We're gonna motion him over, right? Look at this throw. Now my mouse is in the way. Let me fix that. He's not even set for real, and the ball's popping out of his hands, and it's getting there. Now he beats the backer, okay? Because now look, this is zone, right? This is a cover 3, I think. Yeah, cover three. So we already know that when he's coming, he's gonna hook it up right here. We know that this curl flat defender is right here. So we know he's gonna be expanding with this guy running out into the flat. And this guy's at a big disadvantage because this is Drake London. He knows how to not manipulate. He knows how to sit in space. He's not gonna necessarily push his route all the way to his route depth, because look at that. As soon as he clears him, give his eyes right there. Cool, boom. Good attention to detail right there. I love what I saw from this play calling yesterday. Now, can we build on this and play a depleted 49ers team? That's all I'm asking. Let's just build on this. Once again, I'm not really sure why Zac Robinson just decides to become an elite play caller during prime time, but if we can get this for the 1 o'clock and the 4 o'clock games, this offense is going to take off, especially with the way the defense is playing. We actually know this is a true top 5, number 1 defense in the league. To say top 5 is crazy, but number 1 is even crazier. Okay, so I'm loving what I see by Zac. Way to get better at your play calling, way to self-evaluate, know what we do well, and get back to it. Because I'm looking at some of these concepts. What we're doing well, we were doing last year, okay? And I'm glad we're really getting back to doing that, because I don't know what we tried to do last year or earlier this year, where we're trying to incorporate more things he did at Washington. No, what we did well was what we did well, which was pro style stuff, not this college stuff, okay? But that's besides the point. So if you guys did enjoy this, be sure to like and subscribe for more coming at y'all with the defense next. See you guys later. Goodbye.